Hello everyone, this is Urvashi Chauhan and I welcome you to Courts Today by Livelaw. We bring you the latest and in-depth legal coverage, coming to you with a brief of what all happened in the Indian courts today. Aisha Noori, the sister of gangster politician Atiq Ahmad and Ashraf Ahmad, who as you know were gunned down in April this year while being in police custody in Uttar Pradesh, has moved the Supreme Court seeking a probe headed by a retired judge into what she calls the state-sponsored killing of the duo as well as the encounter of Atiq's son, her nephew, by the police. According to the petition, the respondents, that is, the police authorities, are enjoying full support of the UP government, which appears to have granted them complete impunity to kill, arraign, arrest, and harass members of the petitioner's family as part of a vendetta. In this regard, another petition is pending before the apex court filed by advocate Vishal Tiwari seeking an independent inquiry into the killings of Ahmad brothers and other encounter killings in the state of UP since 2017. The Supreme Court has sought a comprehensive affidavit from the UP government on the steps taken to inquire into the killings. Stay tuned with us for more updates on the matter. And now coming to the West Bengal Panchayat elections. The Calcutta High Court has observed that election of candidates uncontested has a detrimental impact on the right to choose afforded to voters of an electorate. A single judge bench of Justice Amrita Sinha has directed the State Election Commission to reconsider its decision declaring certain candidates as elected uncontested after abruptly dropping the names of other candidates from the final list of contesting candidates in Bhangur district. The names were dropped citing delay in filing the nomination papers. The aggrieved candidates said their nominations were delayed in view of rampant election violence. The court said there is no provision in law to drop the names of prospective candidates from the list if they did not withdraw their nominations. It has thus directed the SEC to individually and thoroughly investigate each and every instance of corruption and violence being claimed by the petitioners and redress the same by June 28th. A new constitution bench has been formed in the Supreme Court to hear 4 cases starting July 12th. The bench will be led by Chief Justice of India D.Y. Chandrachud and will comprise Justices Rishikesh Roy, P.S. Narasimha, Pankaj Mittal and Manoj Mishra. The cases that the bench will hear are as follows. The first one is regarding whether the rules of the game can be changed after the selection process for posts has begun. In the second and the third case, the issue involved is whether a person who is ineligible to be appointed as an arbitrator can appoint an arbitrator or not. And the final one is whether a person holding a driving license in respect of light motor vehicle can, on the strength of that license, be entitled to drive a transport vehicle of light motor vehicle class having unladen weight not exceeding 7,500 kg. Stay tuned with Livelaw for extensive coverage of Supreme Court proceedings on these cases. In another important update, slamming the makers of the movie Adipurush for portraying religious characters, including Lord Ram and Lord Hanuman, in an objectionable manner, the Allahabad High Court today observed as to why the tolerance level of Hindus was being put to test by them. These significant observations were made by the court while dealing with 2 public interest litigation pleas filed against the exhibition and dialogues of the movie. The court said that religious scriptures towards which people are sensitive should not be touched or encroached upon, and that the petitions before it were not at all a propaganda but were concerned with a genuine issue. The court allowed the application seeking to implead the dialogue writer of the film, Manoj Muntashir Shukla, as a party respondent in the PIL and directed for the issuance of notice to him. The Karnataka High Court has dismissed a petition filed by the principal and other officials of a school in the Kodagu district challenging the order of the magistrate court, which rejected the summary report filed by the police in relation to alleged abetment to suicide of a student. In the present case, the student was suspended for allegedly carrying alcohol to school. Upon his parents' request, he was allowed to appear for examinations online from his home. However, it is alleged that the student kept waiting for the exam link but did not receive the same. After the exam and answer sheet collection time got over, he committed suicide. A single bench of Justice M. Nagprasanna observed that the boy was in communication with the school even up to 15 minutes before his death, which shows that there is proximity with the commission of suicide. The bench also suggested to schools which are inculcating harsh discipline to think of a paradigm shift, as the young souls sometimes do not have the capacity to think of the consequences of any action that may lead to devastating steps. The Madhya Pradesh High Court has reversed the death penalty awarded in a case involving the rape and murder of a 3-year-old girl. The court observed that the investigation conducted by the authorities was carried out in an extremely casual and cryptic manner. According to the prosecution's case, the victim, a 3-year-old girl, had accompanied her grandmother outside their house to answer nature's call. However, upon the grandmother's return after a brief absence, the child was nowhere to be found. A search was initiated, and 3 days later, the victim's lifeless body was discovered by passers-by. Then, 5 days later, during the investigation, the appellant was arrested based on suspicion. The court, after examining the post-mortem and DNA reports, concluded that the prosecution had failed to establish any sexual assault against the victim. The bench of Justices Sujay Paul and A.K. Paliwal set aside the death sentence and acquitted the accused by giving him benefit of doubt. The Madhya Pradesh High Court has taken suo motu cognizance of the continuing manual scavenging in the state after the recent death of 2 workers in Gwalior. On 15th June, 2 contract workers engaged in cleaning a sewage line in Resham Mill area died of asphyxiation after entering a manhole. The bench of Chief Justice Ravi Malimath and Justice Vishal Mishra has directed the state to respond by 4 weeks. Recently, the Supreme Court also had directed the Union of India to place on record the steps taken by it to prevent employment of manual scavengers. The Prohibition of Employment as Manual Scavengers and their Rehabilitation Act of 2013 prohibits manual scavenging in India and was enacted to correct the historical injustice and indignity suffered by the manual scavengers and to rehabilitate them to a life of dignity. The Delhi High Court has directed the Delhi government to ensure that sufficient number of short and long stay homes are available for mentally ill inmates who do not require regular hospitalization and have no homes to go back to live in a safe environment. A division bench of Justice Mukta Gupta and Justice Poonam A. Bamba observed that it is the bounden duty of the state to take care of the life of all its citizens. The bench was dealing with an appeal moved by a murder convict, Madhu Bala, who was diagnosed with schizophrenia during the course of trial and is undergoing treatment as an outdoor patient at Institute of Human Behavior and Allied Sciences. And lastly, a PIL has been moved before the Gujarat High Court seeking an inquiry into the incident of public flogging of alleged rioters involved in the Junagadh mob violence and other acts of committing custodial violence by Junagadh police. The PIL plea filed by Lok Adhikar Manch and Minority Coordination Committee also seeks registration of an FIR against police personnel and officers responsible for the incident and for ransacking and destruction of movable properties of the suspects. Violence broke out in Junagadh following the issuance of demolition notices by the local civic body to certain Islamic religious places on the grounds that they were encroaching on public roads. The bench of Acting Chief Justice A.J. Desai and Justice Biren Vaishnav has directed to supply a copy of the PIL to the public prosecutor and has posted the matter for further hearing tomorrow. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching. If you wish to know more details about the cases I mentioned here, you can visit our website at www.livelaw.in. Stay ahead with quick legal updates only on Live Law. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe and support us.